Hi, this is Charles Kelly. Hope you're having a good day. We're coming here from London, a sort of damp and cold day. And today the Prime Minister has been on his feet in Parliament announcing some new measures for regional lockdowns. I say lockdown, I use that term loosely. I wouldn't call it a full lockdown as in the case of some countries where people can barely go out. These are more restrictions on certain kinds of businesses, certain kinds of gatherings, and they're aimed at cities like Liverpool and Nottingham, where the cases have been a little bit higher than usual. So what are these things? Well, they're closing some of the businesses down, like these gaming places where people stand at fruit machines, gambling all day, throwing their money down the drain, really, taking money off the food of their families, basically. I don't have any sympathy for these gaming casino type places. Casinos are not like the Bond movies, everyone's glamorous and that. Casinos are desperate places where people are just losing their money, they're losing their life savings, they're going to a cash machine in the corner, drawing out more money and losing that. And they're lonely, desperate, sad people, really. Gambling is an addiction, as is drugs. So that won't do any harm. I think it sucks money out of the community, personally. But these lockdowns, if you come to the UK, you might wonder if we're even in a lockdown. Most people are not wearing masks on the street. There are measures to wear masks inside of shops and on public transport, but I've been in shops and seen people not wearing masks. I was on a train the other day and there were people walking around without masks, or they have it around their chin, which is just defeats the object, really. So there's a lot of people who are just ignoring it. Some people say, well, I'm not going to get coronavirus, it's not going to affect me, so I'm not going to wear a mask. Well, what about other people? In a way, masks might prevent the spread of just the common cold and flu that we normally get at this time of year, where people come into work coughing and spluttering and sneezing over everybody and saying, oh, I've got a cold, but I couldn't miss this day at work. Well, why not? Just stay at home and don't come in. And there should be less flu this year. Doctors have been asking people to take flu jabs. I'm not going to bother. But if you're vulnerable, I suppose you should do. But that, I think, in a way, these social distancing measures should stop the spread of the average kind of diseases that we get through hugging and kissing and shaking hands. People go, oh, hello, how nice to meet you. Is it? I think that's a good thing. Social distancing might have some positive effects in that way. Now, at the same time that Boris Johnson has announced these measures, last week the Chancellor Rishi Sunak said that he will be bringing in new schemes to help businesses that have been forced to shut down by coronavirus restrictions. And a lot of these are in the leisure and the arts. And the scheme will run on the 1st of November. And employees of businesses that are forced to close down will receive 2/3 of their salary, their wages, funded by the government. It will start from the 1st of November and run for 6 months. And a Treasury source has told the BBC that this could cost hundreds of millions of pounds a month. So you're into billions by the end of the 6 months. And that's on top of the other schemes that have been running. And, there is an estimate that this could cost 300 billion over a year to the government. And I think it could be more. And where is this money coming from? It's been printed. It's digitally, not even printed off a press, it's just digitally created out of thin air. And the central banks are doing this. And this money is then pumped into the economy, but it doesn't seem to end up in anybody's pocket apart from the banks. And they're supposed to lend out, but what are they doing? Restricted lending. So I can't see how it is stimulating the economy. Anyway, back to the measures. The leisure and performing arts sector has obviously been particularly hit. A lot of theatres are still closed down, or most theatres are closed down. Cinemas, for some reason, can open, but theatres, clubs, and a lot of these places are closed down. And the arts, the culture secretary, Oliver Dowden, who's a minister for culture, has announced measures that will give 257 million in government arts funding. And some of the venues that will be benefiting from this are the Cavern Club in Liverpool. This is where the Beatles did some of their early gigs. Not, I don't think their first gig, but they were certainly made popular in the Cavern Club. They were discovered in the Cavern Club by their manager, and it's a great place. I went to the Cavern Club. I don't know whether it's the original Cavern Club, but I went to that street, and it's a sort of dingy, cavey type place with arches. I can't imagine what it'd be like when it's full up and the Beatles are up there doing their thing. But it must have been. I mean, the moisture must have been falling off the ceilings. But anyway, that can help some of the arts people. I don't think 257 million is going to go that far, but we're definitely seeing more closures, more job losses, and I think we're going to see more of that as time goes on when these schemes come to an end. But looking around the streets, I was in the West End yesterday in Oxford Street, very, very quiet in the shops. I just wonder how some of them are surviving. They're obviously taking measures just to restrict the number of people going in, but it's actually not needed. Most shops you can just walk in because there's not that many people in there. So I don't know what's going to happen. It looks very quiet in the West End, and this should be a time when it's busy. There should be tourists around, but I just don't see it. So I think jobs are going to suffer in the coming months. I just think there's no way out of it. So how would the markets react? You think the stock markets would be going down and crashing, but no, the stock markets have barely reacted to this bad economic news. In fact, they're up last week slightly. Today they're up in the morning. They're slightly, it's about level now. So no problem at all. The markets are still steaming ahead in the UK and America, and the property markets are all going swimmingly. People are buying houses. Great. It looks like nothing's happening, doesn't it? Well, but we shall see. My estimate, my forecast is that the markets will go down sometime this year, maybe next year, and the property market will also suffer in the coming year, as most people will not be able to buy houses, and therefore prices in theory should go down. I mean, they should be going down now in a way, but they're not, mainly because there's a limited supply. A lot of people are not selling because they realise they're not going to get the best price, and there's still a bit of demand, pent-up demand for properties, and there's this stamp duty holiday, which people I'll save a few £1,000s on stamp duty, let's buy now. So there's still activity out there. Estate agents are still selling properties, auctions are still going ahead online. So properties are still selling, and mortgages, hundreds of millions have been lent every month. So it's not as bad as it seems, and it's certainly not as bad as in some countries where people are just starving because their job is gone, they've got no income, and literally they are on the streets begging in some countries because there is no state aid, there's no government safety net. I mean, here I've got a tenant who lost his business in the lockdown, but now he's in a flat. I'm his landlord, and his rent has been paid for by Universal Credit, and it comes through every month. And as far as he's concerned, he's okay. He's got a place to live, and his rent has been paid, and he gets a bit of benefit as well. And lots of people here are on benefits, and that is also a worry. How is this going to affect the economy? Because if the government has to spend money on benefits, they will eventually have to raise taxes or find that money somewhere, and it means that less money can go into positive investment that benefits the economy in the long run. At the moment, they're just firefighting, paying out benefits, paying for this, paying for that, and obviously these things have got to be done, but how will it affect the economy in the long run? And that's my concern, is how the economy will be affected in the long run with so many people claiming benefits, and I can see it. You can just see it around the place. It's that's an epidemic in itself. So that's not great news today. But at least there are measures to help people in the UK. So we should all be grateful in the UK that we've got a free health service, that there is a safety net there, that if you lose your job, you've got some benefits there you can claim, and that's probably why the UK is a magnet for every migrant in the world, I think, and that's why they're swimming over the channel in inflatable dinghies just to get here, to get their foot on British soil. So anyway, thanks for listening, and have a great evening wherever you are, or a great day. Bye for now. And thanks also to people on Facebook Live. I can see Marie there. Great. Hi. Nice to see you. Ronnie, Jesmel. Great to see you all. And thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting me. Please click the like button and it all helps my ratings on Facebook. Really appreciate your company and welcome any comments you want to make. So thanks for listening. This is Charles Kelly bringing you money tips to help you save, earn, invest, accumulate, enjoy more money. Please check out my book sometime. Yes, money can buy you happiness. Bye for now.